Do you have a hard time finding momentum in your practice routine? If so, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Tim Welch from Singing Mastery Vocal Method, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to get your practice routine going, how to get momentum, how to make those daily habitual changes for your vocal studies so that you can go next level faster. Okay? Here's how you do it. It's very simple to get started. I'm speaking to those of you out there at first. This first part is for those of you that really have never been able to get your practice routine going. You've just never been able to do it. You beat yourselves up about it. This is for you. Here's how you do it. I've had a lot of students have success with this concept. The idea is you want to start so small with the change in your schedule of making space for singing in your life. You want to start with just 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day that you're going to set aside for your singing. 5 minutes. And I'm going to even give you another escape loophole for that 5 minutes. If you go to bed and you realize, oh no, I forgot to practice, what you can do is even then take 5 minutes and just visualize yourself singing for 5 minutes. That's it. Because here's why. Let me break this down super logical why this works. Getting any habit set up is all about creating time in your daily life for that habit. And the way the brain works is once you do something enough day to day, no matter whether it's a long thing you're doing or a short thing to do, it just starts creating a little groove in your brain. You just start noticing. If you do the same thing for 3 weeks over and over at the same time in the day, that fourth week, your mind will already be tuned into it. Okay? That's how we create habits. We just need to create a little space. And what will happen, especially when we're creating space for something we're passionate about, like singing, 5 minutes becomes an hour and you don't even know. It's like time goes away when you're singing because it's so much fun. But the idea is you just need to get started. And so you can tell yourself the great thing to get momentum, when you come home from work and you're tired, or you come home from school, whatever your story is, and you just feel exhausted, you know that you couldn't imagine when you just sit down the idea of practicing for an hour. But the thought of, I'm just going to get up for 5 minutes, woo, just make a couple sounds, maybe sing one song. And you just say 5 minutes, I'm going to pat myself on the back, I did my work for the day. If you do that work, what you'll find, first of all, is you'll find that you'll even come home from work tired or come home from school tired, and eventually you'll practice anyway. It won't even be something that you would question doing. Eventually it will just take over. It'll be something that you do. But for those times in the beginning when you just need to get going, the 5 minute concept will really help you. And really you have to also, as you do the 5 minute thing, you have to give yourself permission to stop at 5 minutes. There may be some times in the beginning where you barely get up and you're like, I need to sing 5 minutes, and you sing for 5 minutes and you're like, man, I'm done in 5 minutes. You have to let yourself be done at 5 minutes too. You have to give yourself permission to let this change come into your life. Because that 5 minutes, you're tricking your mind. That's how it works. You're tricking yourself into doing the change by just doing a tiny, tiny bit of it. And what that does, the mind doesn't know this, but what that does is that starts making that a habit inside of your head to do it, whether it's 5 minutes or 5 hours. You just need to start getting a little space in the day for whatever the vocal technical thing is you're working on, or the song. You just need to create a little space in your day for the vocal work. And then eventually it'll take over. And then you'll notice really soon, few weeks in, if you do a little bit every day, that it'll start getting fun. If it hasn't gotten fun already, I can't imagine. Singing is so fun. How could it not be fun? But you'll notice as you get going that it becomes just something you do. You don't even think about it anymore. That takes zero willpower. In fact, it feels weird to not do it. That's when you know you're in a good place with it, okay? And I have to tell you, this is super important. You can't beat yourself up if you miss a day, all right? You can't beat yourself up. in this beginning stage of just practicing 5 minutes a day for a couple weeks, that's going to get you started. And maybe there may be a day you accidentally forgot. And then the next day you're like, oh, I forgot. Does that mean I have to start over? Don't stress about it. Just keep going 5 minutes. It's okay. You're going to groove your brain in. If you beat yourself up and you allow that beating yourself up to stop you from practicing, then that's going to be the bigger problem. And that's a very common place that students go. So what you want to do is just gentle. Be very proud of every time you do 5 minutes. Say some affirmation to yourself. Be positive. Do some, give yourself some sort of reward, because you want to focus on the changes that you make. And the thing about the 5 minutes is, like I said, it becomes way more than 5 minutes really fast, because you can't stop. At 5 minutes, you just get going. If you get through a couple vocal warm-ups and one song, you're in. If you're a student and you're excited and you're really enjoying your voice lessons, a couple vocal warm-ups in, you're good to go. It'll be tough for you to stop at probably 45 minutes in. That's how it typically works. If you're practicing right, which that's another video. I'll talk about how to make sure you have an exciting practice routine. But the idea of getting going is very simple. It's more about you setting aside the time than it is about what you do with the time. Okay? It's more about setting aside the time than what you do with the time. That's the message. So, give that a shot. Do the 5 minute thing if you haven't been able to set it up. If you have had a practice routine and you keep coming and going into it, then what I encourage for you to do is to, every time you come back to your practicing again, sing the most fun songs you can think about. If you're an experienced singer who's practiced for years and then you kind of come in and out of it and you just have a hard time getting going, for you, the 5 minute thing is going to feel like, that's not the issue. What you need to do is find song repertoire that you just can't wait to sing again. Figure out what that is. That's the key for you. Hope that helps you get moving, get motivated, get momentum in your practicing. Try that technique. 5 minutes, just 5, to get going every day for a few weeks. Okay?